saying is not pseudoscience because you've done something. Question mark.
They're focused on space and they got past the sky. Like, okay, so there's no man in the sky. This proves God.
I don't believe anybody said that to you. I think you made that up.
I'm like, your faith was weakened.
My faith is non existent. What does this have to do with whether water or the earth is my god? Are we talking scientific reasoning here, Albert, taking us to these conclusions? Or is this a faith position? Which is it? Pick one.
You can believe in God without a soul.
Yeah, obviously.
Because God could be a celestial being.
For example, you can have hardware control with a physical knob to turn, buttons to push, and more, whilst all the processing remains firmly inside the box. When you're putting your content out to the internet in a live stream, great audio is super important. One key factor of knowing how your audio is performing is great metering. Ground Control Caster has an extensive metering solution to enable you to see exactly what's happening on each output, keeping your audio under control. Select the VU meter icon at the top of each output channel strip and click on Show Meter View window to open up a selection of metering parameters. Loudness metering using LUFS values can be monitored in a variety of styles, with choices ranging from short-term and integrated through to momentary, and there's also peak monitoring between true peak and momentary peak values. Not only this, but you can open up more than one window at once, giving you a clear view of your entire audio workflow at once. Having this flexibility within Ground Control Caster's monitoring system means you can be in control of everything within your audio workflow at all times. To find out more about Ground Control Caster and how it can help you to get your content creation audio workflow as professional as the biggest creators out there, visit gingeraudio.com to view specific videos on all its features and download it today.
Hey there, folks. Hope you're doing well today. I don't know. I guess I pulled the shortest straw again. Here I am looking at another TikToker. Oh, God. But I'm sure this one will be different. I'm sure this one will be like the pinnacle of political conversation and ideas. And I will be left speechless with nothing to say. Let's take a look.
The MAGA movement is straight out of the leftist playbook, and I promise you, if it was anybody else but Donald Trump saying these things, the left would agree with it. See, the Make America Great Again movement, or the MAGA movement, actually, or at least its core values, has a lot of ideals that align with leftist ideals, but they reject the message because of the messenger and not the message itself.
Okay, so she comes out with a bold statement. So she's saying that if it was anyone else saying these things but Donald Trump, the left would agree. So basically, she's saying the left would like Donald Trump's policies. And let's, again, when you're making an argument, you want to start with the best evidence you have for your argument. So let's see where she goes first. Let's look at her A block.
The left generally opposes things like corporate elites, like establishment politicians, like institutions that serve the rich. And the MAGA movement at its core is a populist movement against elites.
Okay, so her claim is that the MAGA movement is against elites. And so obviously we can tell she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. Donald Trump pool and has made $3 billion since taking office. He got envoy to the Middle East is worth $2 billion. But what about the inauguration where all the billionaires were front and center kissing the ring? You had Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, and TikTok CEO was there too, kissing the ring. And so the first argument she goes to out of the gate could not be more wrong. There could not be more evidence to demonstrate how wrong she was. I'm sure it's only going to get better from here.
So while, yes, we are in the middle of like an AI arms race, and Trump and MAGA are very big into bringing, big tech and corporate manufacturing back to America, they are also very big on keeping corporate corruption out of the picture.
Okay, again, another idea she could not be more wrong about. When we actually look to the policy changes that Donald Trump is making in 2025 with his administration, there are many indicators that corporate corruption will be much easier, or there will be increased corporate corruption. He suspended the anti-bribery enforcement. There was something called the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. It was a cornerstone of U.S. law and corporate bribery of foreign officials. But I mean, just in general, there's the spread of crony capitalism. Trump is increasingly engaging in deal making with corporations, demanding equity stakes, and exerting direct influence over corporate strategy. An example of this was the 10% government stake in Intel funded through previous allocated subsidies, the golden share in U.S. Steel during its merger, the 15% cut of chip revenues from firms like NVIDIA and AMD. And while these are subsidies, what they do is they transform them into political levers and invite favoritism, favoring those with direct access to the administration over others. But I mean, there's so much more, right? He undermined oversight by removing those 17 inspector generals.
Which actually brings me to another point, because protecting domestic labor and fighting offshoring and opposing unfair trade deals used to be Democratic ideology, tracing all the way back to the Kennedys. I mean, honestly, it was probably further than that, but you know what I'm saying. These were core Democratic values. And these are all things that Trump is focused on right now. Like, he is bringing back fair trade deal.
And I mean, that statement right there, right? What she says, he's bringing back fair trade deals. None of these they weren't even legal tariffs that he applied. Courts just came out ruling that the tariffs were not legal. Furthermore, it was so clear he had no idea what he was doing while he was manipulating trade deficit, while trying to call it reciprocal tariffs. And not only that, but we're seeing so many indicators that it's about to impact consumers. It actually already is impacting consumers, but significantly impact consumers even more. This was seen in the PPI, the Producers Price Index, which is the cost of goods for producers, which in turn impacts the cost of consumer goods.
He campaigned on being very much against NAFTA, and he is very concerned on bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. I mean, these are like bread and butter Democratic Union issues, yet when Trump says something about them, you guys reject them altogether.
Well, let's talk about this. Yes, unions are a big part of Democratic ideas, and Donald Trump is busting them. But let's talk about jobs, right? Do we really want to bring back the jobs of yesterday, or do we want to focus on the jobs of tomorrow in a whole new landscape where AI is going to change everything? And really, are those manufacturing jobs really going to be a lot of jobs, or really going to have a lot of automation optimizing that manufacturing plant?
Anti-war movements have also been a traditional stance of the left. And Trump was the first president in decades that did not start any new wars. And on top of that, he repeatedly campaigned on ending forever wars in the Middle East. And even though people don't want to believe it, the military-industrial complex has actually been challenged more under Trump's presidency than most centrist Democrats' presidencies.
Oh my God, it's like everything she says could not be more wrong. He literally bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. He talked about stopping the war in Ukraine and Russia on day one. Literally just rolled out the carpet for that ex-KGB agent who just dog-walked him all over it. But don't worry, I'm sure the next argument is going to be really sound.
Oh, and this is a good one right here. Defending free speech for marginalized communities used to be a core value of the left. And I'll give you guys this one, okay? The right used to be the center of where all the censorship was coming from. But MAGA especially has definitely adopted the idea of absolute free speech.
Lady, again, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. There's literally a list of banned books. He defunded public media because he didn't want the voice of NPR and PBS out there.
All good to go. Sorg can get the tag too. This is actually a pretty good position.
Yeah, big time. Wesker against Spencer is pretty good. Oh, he can dash down, but still gets the interesting reset conversion. Nice work.
I'm not gonna. He lucked out a little bit on that one, but we'll take it.
This is not going to kill. Nice. Very nice.
Okay. And all comboed. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah. it was interesting too because the X Factor at the time, like the last hit of the Wesker Super does that little flip out.
Yeah.
But all of the like intermediate ones don't. So it was really good that he didn't. Wow, that was a nice conversion.
Are we gonna act like we didn't just see the full screen armor piercers from both of them before that? We're just gonna pretend we're just goofing around.
Yeah. They're both like Spencer missiles. Punch him!
Bro,
Nice jobs. Yes. More.
this is just God. I hate Spencer players, bro. No, okay, that was a good punish. That was a good punish. I'll take that.
See, they're smarts. We know what we're doing. Asterisk. Nice job. That was perfect. And the missile conversion? That's fine. We'll get another hit.
Too fast for his own good. TK's too quick.
You just get to have fun on Spencer. Oh, that's exactly how I die to do most of the time.
Dude, I was just about to say he's playing your color and he's doing the Monday. The down forward grapple. I'm winning and I don't need to approach, but I'm gonna down forward grapple.
It's just so it's so tantalizing. You could just do it again. Oh, the command throw was instant. Command throw, X Factor command throw. He's playing my color correct.
He down grappled again, bro. Please.
What is the neutral?
It cannot be a real match, bro. Okay, literally, you deserve to lose both characters off this. Get rid of them both. Absolutely not. You don't deserve it. It's all the Wesker. That's crazy.
Oh my god. I want to abstain from this match. This one specifically. Go to the next one.
1-1. We're playing this first. Okay, chat, listen. Welcome back to the stream. Those first two didn't. We're playing first to 2 Marvel for 1 set only. For that is really important with Spencer. That's kind of
yeah. It's definitely not auto timed by any means. So things like this are all manually timed, and Sword's really killing it. This might wait a minute. We might put the Wolverine in the back pocket.
Nope. Bro, stop down grappling, man. Why does every Spencer do this?
It's so that's the most hard read for no gain.
There's never enough. Oh, okay. You're nasty.
The one time he calls the assist and it works, 100% hit rate. Is it DHC? Not going to kill, unfortunately. Gets a DHC, you hear the missile coming out. Oh, but what is happening?
He even called Spencer there. You know how much confidence you have to call Spencer there? Spencer not doing anything, by the way.
Spencer's not doing anything in that position.
No, he has one of the worst assists for that moment.
A little hop over. Wow, barely caught the crouch light with the helm breaker. Back to business as usual. I think we will see. Unfortunately, misses. Super. Doesn't have a meter DHC. Wants to maybe slow things down.
Yeah.
Kind of bought a little bit of extra time. Okay. Wesker blocks. We're in a really good position. Nice X Factor, but not a lot of recovery on the Devil Trigger Rapid Slash.
I bet you won't.
Truly. Oh, jeez. No arm. Caught him. No conversion. And the missiles are just like there to interrupt later than the beam, I think, which is interesting because it starts as like a unsafe sort of approach, but then, oh yeah.
This is what
Ninja
Fireball
coming through
Wars
the
look
sun.
like in this game. I have never seen Spencer's air throw animation this many. Oh! What is happening?
Oh boy. I love this so much.
This is like, these are the sets you normally see on like people warming up on servers like pre-tournament.
The two
It's like
computers.
this is me and my boy during like our first of 500, and we're too tired to keep our eyes open.
It's like 3
They're
a.m.
gaming. This is amazing. This is like, yeah, absolutely. This is like 4 a.m. at the major when you're like, I should go to bed, and they're like, one more set.
Just one more. Oh my word. Level 3 doesn't kill. All 3 characters bleeding. Shiny Bandito still in a good spot. Safety HC with Wesker. Wants to slow things down just slightly. This is precarious. Oh, what a throw! Nice pick up the missiles!
That was actually super sick to get the
Spend
pick
it.
up there.
All the characters are low enough health to where one touch kills all of them. So it doesn't even matter. He tries to down grapple. Oh, he's out of there. Bomber. Nice block. Oh, but the rapid slash. He has to finish.
Dude,
We've seen a lot of silly combos, but he's... Oh, that was disrespectful with the follow-up with the fear.
That was goofy as hell. Shiny Bandito with the goofiest way to finish that one off. But that will do it. Unfortunately, no game 5. But fortunately, Shiny Bandito sets us free.
Is like the game, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like the release of the game. And
Still
apparently,
getting
if
patches.
you had gotten into the previous betas, you're apparently getting in this one as well.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
Sweet. So I will then to put a lot of time into it. Oh, this is a peak match for
It's actually kind of a
YouTube
banger,
turning.
dude. Just
Turn
kind
in,
of
YouTube.
crazy. Deadpool and Shogun. Shogun, one of my favorite. I enjoy people playing the dog by proxy because I can't play the character myself. I don't have the hands for it. I can't
Yeah.
down the way this character requires. So I'm so happy to watch players like Shogun be able to actually live my dream.
Shogun actually made like an Amaterasu team, which is so interesting because just now, even as you see, like both assists were used, he had built so much bar and now puts himself in a better position with Emi to like actually do damage and do something with the character because it was always labeled almost as an anchor character for so long. And putting her on point, like she's got tools. She has
Oh, yeah.
mobility, she has neutral, she has so many cool things that Shogun actually properly shows off. And I'm gonna be so real, he's probably one of the best with the counter with Amy.
Oh,
like
agreed.
bar none.
No, 100%.
I get hit multiple times, often in sets against him. I think he uses it so well. But Zenpool already popping the X Factor, getting rid of Dorm, kind of the core of the team. So in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I mean, Shogun, I feel like has done his job for the most part here. Got the team into the worst possible order. Got rid of the X Factor in a reasonable time. You get the slowdown here. Could have gone for the DHC if they wanted and popped X, but instead it's going to hold off for a little bit.
Yeah, buys pretty much the whole slowdown. So we'll like just DHC just to get rid of it. Oh, the call of the assist, that would have been kind of interesting if that hit. But X Factor comes out from Shogun. Wesker assist, sliced up. Paper, slowdown. Oh yeah. Amy special. Deadpool able to just double jump out of it, but gets to the other side.
Nah,
And a
the
forced ground
air-to-air
bounce there.
the air-to-air is way too crucial there. That's one of the nicest things about this team is that Amy, I don't think, has to have it, but Amy, if you're going to play anything other than Anchor, having an OTG assist is such a godsend for this character. It lets you get so many
100%.
extensions, so much extra meter like you were talking about before.
Yeah, for sure. And the crazy part is, like, I actually don't do super well against Shogun because of how much activity and how active that little dive kick that Amy has is. Yeah, I get hit by it more often than not, and I'm usually the person to, like, push air-to-airs. But against that, it's a wall, man. I actually have to change everything up whenever I play Shogun because he uses it really well too, and it's pretty hard to punish for the most part. For most
The one time I played him, I was just plinking back like the whole match. I'm literally just running from the dog the entire game.
Snaps out Ryu. Usually Akuma would probably be the target for this team. Cuts the paper with the beam. Nice punish. Ooh, a little more optimal too with that little extra added in. Reset situation. Gets the counter on the hard tag. That's so sick. If you snap them back out, that would have been actually such sick mind games. Nice. Like the giant hitbox, like bigger than Virgil's sword, arguably, in that scenario. Nice conversion. Yup, another forced ground bounce with the OTG assist. Gets this full combo and didn't even have to spend a bar. And has 2 more bars for slow and setup. Kuma coming and swinging, but the slowdown makes it so much easier to convert and makes these strings so insane for Shogun. 2 games up, straight up.
I feel like we got to switch the order here. It's got to be. Yeah, I was gonna say that's got to be the decision. I feel like this happens so often for Zenpool, where he tries to force the Ryu up front, and especially against characters like this and teams like this that can get once they build resources, they're able to completely ramp up. Sick combo, by the way.
Sick combo.
Jesus.
All that bar spent, cashed out 100%, all in.
But playing against teams like this, that once they get meter, they ramp up like crazy. You just can't afford to give away Ryu early because he is worth a bar and a half himself just by whooping his ass because he has a mil?
Yeah, I think it actually is a mil. He's tanky. I don't get it. My level 3 is so sick. Nice. Oh my! I cannot believe that hitbox hits that high enough where you can confirm off of it. That was so cool. Doesn't waste the ground bounce. Nice. Gets under with the reset. Oh, locked down. Tried to X Factor to try and push advantage or pop himself out of block stun. Maybe hit a button, but he was just deep in the assist. Nice. Wow. Defensive play from Zenpool. Gets in that game pretty handily.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Shogun too, is that he gets the hit with the stagger, but just lets it go. And once you've shown your hand with Wesker like that, I feel like you have to. If you go for a stagger and it hits and you don't confirm it, I think as a Wesker player, the next interaction should always be command throw. If you show them stagger, they're gonna completely be taped down back. There's no way they're doing anything else.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's tough too because it's usually in your best interest to start with a stagger to kind of see where they're at, but then if that hits, then you're right. It kind of skips the step of wait, they shouldn't have got hit by that, and I should be making different offensive decisions from that point. And then, oh, nice! Wow, what a confirm! Boy,
damage, dude, and the cold. Whoa, Tatsu at a crazy timing.
Wow. That was clutch. Being just barely low enough to the ground where that just comes out instantly, but swings on the way out. Hope he gets hit by that fireball. He almost... Oh, you saw that S down there. Wow, nice.
Such a good punish, though. Zenpool almost got an amazing confirm with his launcher on the way down, but in the end, Shogun is able to get a pretty crazy punish of his own with the X. Jesus,
yeah, that was really super good recognition on the X Factor. As soon as you see that dive kick, it is the punishable thing from Akuma, and immediately reacting, X Factoring, and then punishing well enough to jab on the way down to then convert with the speed of the X Factor.
It's been a minute since we've seen him in a bracket. I just must be busy with real life or something, but we are lucky to be blessed with Lil B-Man today.
Oh yeah. We love when B-Man joins. Always solid. I think he's taken the biggest liking to this team because he's had so many teams and he's played with so many teams, but this one has had the most success. And I feel it's interesting because obviously it's Dual Kevin's team, but this is also B-Man's style in the team. You see so much more aggression. Look at the plink up. That is so much more difficult than it looks. I mean, on Hitbox it's a slight bit easier, but to have that aggression with this team is so opposite of what the team structure was normally made for.
Yeah, it's definitely for when you watch people like Kev play, it's very much my pace. I'm going to counterpunch when you approach type of thing. And for B-Man, it's very much guns just enough to keep you off guard and keep you kind of guessing. And when you have a moment of hesitation and blocking, like, it's game time. I'm going in.
No way he hits those. Oh, we might be here for a while. Oh, he's in there. This might be like 230 hits. We got that F2 Con read.
Yeah. Hey, listen, F2 Con coming up soon.
Hey.
Make sure you sign up. YouTube, you guys as well. You guys need to. F2 Con. It's going to be a good time.
F2 Con. Yup. In Tennessee. We got tons of games, tons of prizes, over 10K in prizes. Definitely want to see you guys there. TNS always holding it down. Yeah, if you guys want some snacks, I'm not going to try and curse B-Men here. It'd be
Nah, bro, listen.
beneficial for the
this
viewing
is
experience, but hey, this is sick. I like something.
This is the one. I
get
know
boring.
that you like. Listen, I was just about to say, you know how often I get in trouble for saying "let's get boring." I'm down for it.
Every
I love
time it's like, oh, he drops it. I always like, you know, when like somebody talks about you and then you hear your ear ringing. Whenever I hear "let's get boring," like I'm smiling just in the back. So just know that I appreciate it every single time.
Every time. If you TAC and Magneto's the next character in line, you know what I'm gonna say. That was stupid. Jab
was
on the same side, and that's so risky too. Because heroic, like the counterplay to that is like if heroic holds down, like you're gone.
Yeah, you're done for. X Factor, you're straight up gone. And what's funny, you rarely see that. I think it was stand medium from Deadpool. That little like stiff leg. You almost never see that button.
Yeah, he did jab stand medium.
That was sick. Raider Maroon, I see you. Thank you for that one. You saved us maybe 5 minutes of our time. Holy moly. Heroic fighting back. Spencer starter. Oh, the jabs, though. It's so good against Spencer. And B-Man just positioning himself so well.
He's silencing cultural and academic expression everywhere. Any divisive narrative from the Smithsonian exhibit is being removed. Like they're literally going to national parks and removing signs that make them feel offended because it accurately reflects history. Lady, when they begin to censor art, that is the start of fascism.
Trump essentially reshaped the entire GOP voter base by drawing in people like blue collar workers, like union members, like disaffected Democrats like me who felt left behind by this neoliberal globalism. MAGA gave a voice to the people that the left used to fight for. Everyday, normal, working class Americans. And yet now those same people are being dismissed as deplorables.
We've clearly demonstrated how everything you said could not be further from the truth. You are supporting a man who's literally fighting to take women's rights away and who enabled Roe v. Wade to be stripped away from women, period. You are literally losing your rights. And you are here for it. You're out here celebrating it. And you're playing the victim, talking about how we've abandoned you with our values. And the pussy grabbing guy has instead won you over. I don't know what to say about you. I think you are a lost cause. Maybe we are fucking cooked. If you can't see all of these things that are so clear
Also, reforming and dismantling unjust systems used to be a core value of the left. Trump's presidency was heavily marketed on the fact that he wants to drain the swamp and disrupt this entrenched power dynamics that are going on within our government. That is essentially what movements like Occupy Wall Street or even like Bernie Sanders' earlier campaigns were trying to do, just from a slightly different angle.
And you're like, oh yeah, that convicted felon who consistently and repeatedly commits fraud. He's the guy we need to be in there to drain the swamp. Guy is literally consolidating power. And we listed his swamp cabinet members earlier and the billions of dollars they have in their pockets. Like, again, lady, you are so disconnected from reality.
And I think where the disconnect is that a lot of MAGA's base uses this nationalist, traditional, and sometimes even religious rhetoric that is very off-putting to the people on the left, even if the policies overlap. Now, combine this with the fact that many people on the left are only consuming content that frame Trump in a narrative that he is this racist, fascist, bigot, dictator, awful, authoritarian person.
We approached your video with an open mind. If you are making claims that are incorrect and easily proven to be untrue, we're going to call you out. But you said it yourself. So much of these ideas are in line with nationalist ideas, and you don't see a fucking problem with that.
When you have those two things together, now there has left no room to engage with any part of Trump's messaging. And then, of course, there's the aspect of tribal politics where people just refuse to engage with anything that doesn't come from their side. If it comes from the other side, it must automatically be bad and wrong.
Again, we approached your ideas very openly, and it was very easy to demonstrate all of the flaws in them. But we were here listening to the other side, here for it. We wanted to hear your arguments. We wanted to see how compelling they were. And they all fell flat on their face. And so what does that say about your ideals and beliefs?
Leopards are eating my face. Leopards are eating my face. Leopards are eating my face. Leopards are eating my face.
Graham Plattner running in the Democratic primary in Maine to hopefully take on Susan Collins. Now, there were a few candidates already in the race, but the big one that, a lot of DC Democratic establishment folks want to run, and I'm glad Plattner kind of got ahead of her, is the governor of Maine, Janet Mills, who is 77. Also, the Maine Democratic Party has had a horrible record of putting up candidates to take on Susan Collins. Last cycle was 2020, and Biden won that race. And Susan Collins won by 8 points. How is that possible? You know how that's possible? Well, it's if you have DC dictating candidates for a state like Maine, which, like smaller, more rural states and also New England states, it can have a bit of an independent streak to their politics. They appreciate folks who are outside of, kind of traditional party branding and that speak to the needs of smaller states and their communities. And we had Plattner on last week. He's phenomenal. Immediately calling out the genocide in Gaza, class first politics, everything you could want. And we now know that he has
Left Reckoning viewer.
Yes, and the Majority Report viewer and caller at one point, oyster farmer. He's got the stuff, and he also has a great staff behind him now. We know that there's been some Zoran and Bernie carryover, and Bernie Sanders is going to rally with him over Labor Day weekend. As a Mainer, Brian, I would imagine you're as excited as anything.
I'm going to be in Maine. so maybe I'll go.
You should go.
I'm gonna be there anyway.
Well, you have to now that you said that.
Oh my
know.
gosh. I mean, I'm sure like you could get an in now that we have a MR listener who is getting this kind of profile. It's very exciting.
We've texted a little bit.
Oh god. All right.
Okay, flex.
Flex on him. Yeah. Mr. Celebrity over here. So glad to see Plattner so early get an interview on CNN. And there's a lot of this that's great. But here he is. We'll play a few minutes of this on with Manu Raju yesterday.
Thank you very much for having me this morning.
No problem. Democratic leaders here in Washington, they're desperate, really, to beat Susan Collins in their quest for the majority. But they're looking at your state's Democratic governor, Janet Mills. They think she would be the best candidate if she runs. So why shouldn't the party consolidate around a battle-tested two-term governor who has proven repeatedly she can win statewide?
It was battle tested. How old is she?
77. I think that battle was World War One.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I'm always fascinated by World War One history, where the Brits thought they could bring like old wooden ships that they'd been patrolling like the Atlantic with for the last 100 years into war, and then it's like, oh no, we got submarines now. You're not built for this, actually.
Let's see. Janet Mills, 77 years old now.
Battle tested.
She's got battle scars. Oh wait, those are just wrinkles because she's nearly 80 years old.
The War of 1812.
I mean, so she's born on December 30th. She'll be 78 by the end of 2025, meaning that if she were to win, she would start her 6-year term at 78 years old.
78 battle tested years.
Sorry to be ageist, but
Dianne Feinstein was crushing it at what, 106?
You gotta question the Democratic insiders that after what we just experienced with Biden clinging on to power and giving a runway for Donald Trump to do a fascist authoritarian takeover of the United States, like that perhaps some of these Democratic insiders might take a breath and think and have some introspection about putting up a 77-year-old for a Senate position.
Battle hardened 77-year-old.
She had one soundbite that "We'll see you in court." She's like the Hawk Tuah of this, like of the DNC.
Oh right, she's the "We'll see you in court" later.
We'll see you in court.
Okay.
She had one soundbite, and now the DNC is like, oh yeah.
All you need
That's all we need.
All you need is one viral moment to propel you. Just ask Kamala Harris at the debate. Oh wait.
Ask Hillary Clinton when she got her big two phones moment. And everyone's like, well, this is our next president. I'll say here's another one. Seasoned. Okay.
Seasoned. That's a euphemism.
Yeah, like a cast iron.
Battle hardened.
Don't put Janet Mills in the dishwasher.
Looking at your state's Democratic governor, Janet Mills, they think she would be the best candidate if she runs. So why shouldn't the party consolidate around a battle-tested two-term governor who has proven repeatedly she can win statewide?
Repeatedly.
If we keep running the same kinds of playbooks, if we keep having DC choose candidates for Maine that don't always represent a good, the entire electorate of the state, then we run the risk of having another 2020. And I feel that, frankly, because of the fact that I was born and raised here, the kind of life that I've lived, the kind of work that I do, I have a connection with a lot of folks throughout the state, Republican, Democrat, independent, unenrolled, that I think other candidates just don't have.
So if she runs, the governor, Janet Mills, would you drop out of the race?
No. Campaign we want.
All right. Just pause for a sec. So I'm reminded of Bernie's hatred of the corporate press. I watched this whole interview last night. I was doing other things. I'm pretty sure every question is horse race related. Mm-hmm. Just so you, just pay attention, because Plattner is running on a platform that puts forward the working class and is an anti-billionaire, anti-genocide platform that wants to take on the oligarchs and return wealth to the American people and to specifically people in Maine. And you're not going to hear much about that in questions. And this is what Bernie's dealt with his entire career.
Also, has Janet Mills announced
No, she hasn't announced. But they're desperate, but they're worried now.
This is crazy. Like,
Will you drop out?
They bet for this entire summer. It looks there's stories of Democrats trying to recruit her. She doesn't want to do it.
She's tired.
And we've talked
77 years old.
Yes, and age is not the only thing. We've said, like, okay, we don't want replacements of older corporate Democrats with new corporate Democrats, but age is something I've heard across centrists to leftists as a baseline issue. And the Democrats nationally are like, but what if we ignored not just the progressive base this time, but like 100% of Democratic voters?
I mean, that's how the big beautiful bill passes. Like 3 cancer patients died. It's like 80-year-old cancer.
Although I guess they're used to it because only 8% of Democrats support Israel's military action in Gaza, and they've done a pretty good job of ignoring that 92%.
That I think other candidates just don't have.
So if she runs, the governor, Janet Mills, would you drop out of the race?
No, I'd stay in. We're going to run the campaign we want to run.
All right. So let me talk to you about your party, because poll after poll shows the Democratic brand at all-time lows. And a New York Times analysis this week found your party lost millions of registered voters in recent years. Do you have confidence that Democratic leaders know how to change this very negative public perception about your party?
No, I'm doing this because I feel that we need to rebuild the party from the ground up. There was a time when this was a party that actually represented the working class, when it represented unions, when it represented big structural changes that were going to help working people. We haven't had that for a real long time. And there's a lot of finger pointing about who's to blame. But truthfully, I just think that at its core, we need to really start rebuilding from the ground up and turning the party back into a party of the working class that goes and fights for the working class.
So to that point, I mean, if you win next year, your first vote would be on choosing the next Democratic leader.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just pause it again. To that point about remaking the party to represent the interests of the working class, if you win, what's going to be your vote on Democratic leader? I mean, like, I get it, but you just, even when they, it's an insane way to respond to, like, what is your agenda? How will you?
Oh, but here we go. We gotta get this structure.
But it's just such a, it's really jarring to see someone so substantive with like the most vapid producer in the ear questions to try to make a headline and not inform anybody about anything important.
This is what has been going on with our media way before the internet. Like, this is why political media has been, and cable has always been pretty horrible, because it has been this focus on I mean, this is a pretty hilarious degree of it, but pretty much this sort of thing of, I'm not going to get into like what we're actually going to do on policy. It's going to be, you know, do you support or what do you think about the political, horse race?
Well, but with that said, I love his answer.
Long time. And there's a lot of finger pointing about who's to blame. But truthfully, I just think that at its core, we need to really start rebuilding from the ground up and turning the party back into a party of the working class that goes and fights for the working class.
So to that point, I mean, if you win next year, your first vote would be on choosing the next Democratic leader. That would be Chuck Schumer. Would you vote for him to be the next Democratic leader?
No. At this point, we need leaders that have vision and, frankly, the ability to fight. The things that I've seen recently don't show me a Democratic leadership that has that. And while I don't really have any answers on that front right now of who it would be, I do know that it certainly wouldn't be those who've been in charge.
All right, let's talk a little bit.
Boom. So there you go. I hope that paves the way for more candidates in 2026 to answer that question in that way, because it's inevitable. We know that the horse race questions are coming, but I'm looking at like John Ossoff? Are they going to ask Roy Cooper if he would support Chuck Schumer if he were to win? These are essential questions. And honestly, if you're a guy like Ossoff or Roy Cooper who has already been a part of like the Democratic Party and you want to differentiate yourself from the rotten and deeply unpopular establishment of the party, saying you want to change in leadership is kind of a cheap way to do it, huh?
I mean, Republicans always take shots at their leaders, and it works out extremely well for them. It's kind of pathetic how rare that is to see on the side of the Democrats. And especially when they're frankly just as evil as the side of the Republicans, especially now.
If you want to, if you're in Maine or, even in like the Northeast and you're going to be having your Labor Day in Maine or whatever, and you want to show up, you can go to Graham's website. I think it's grahamformaine.com. Let me double check that. I got it wrong. grahamforsenate.com. There we go. Thank you, Brian. grahamforsenate.com has all of the information that you might need. You can volunteer. You can donate if you have the ability. Really important race. And hopefully this kicks things off with other candidates like this in primaries across the country. Clearwater, confidence in the Dems is at a historic low, but also vote for current leadership again. Laughing my ass off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even the crappy questions he does have in his narrow view aren't they don't cohere with each other.
And Majority Enthusiast says he also did a Reddit AMA yesterday, and it's pretty encouraging. Oh, I'd love to check out what he said. Doopy Time says, I'm thinking about that Morning Joe clip of where are the moderate charismatic politicians, aka moderate Zorans? The answer is most moderates were alive during the Spanish-American War. The thing is just that, not to toot the horn of millennials, but when you look at polling, millennials are by far right now the most like progressive generation alive. And as more millennials kind of come of age to run for office, you're going to see more of these kinds of candidates. It just depends on if the Democratic Party squashes them and if these candidates have infrastructure that can support their candidate. When you look at polling, millennials are by far right now the most like progressive generation alive. And as more millennials kind of come of age to run for office, you're going to see more of these kinds of candidates. It just depends on if the Democratic Party squashes them and if these candidates have infrastructure that can support their candidacy in the face of enormous obstacles like big money on the other side. It was interesting that Susan Collins, she had some statement about how anti-Israel Graham was really early on. You don't typically see that.
AIPAC, give me money, send the check.
Yeah, Susan, right. She's basically trying to get out ahead of it so that she can get a bunch of AIPAC money in her district. Yeah,
Gotta
Susan.
prime the pump.
Let's put this up, actually. I just sent it here. Susan Collins hits newly minted challenger over his anti-Israel rhetoric. This is less than a week ago. Oh, shoot. There's a bit of a paywall. I'll just read the quote.
Do you think that comes from this interview that we did with him? Do you think that's...
I wonder.
You would have heard about it.
I can't see it either.
Let me see if I can get around it. I'll try to get around it.
Yeah.
Can I read one of his response from his AMA?
Yeah.
So it says, legitimate ad asks, just curious where you stand on LGBTQ rights and freedoms. And Graham replied, I stand right in the fucking way of anyone who's going to try to come after the freedoms of the LGBT community.
Let's go. I mean, that's how you do it. I can't get past that paywall.
Yeah, me neither.
But oh well. People can look up.
I mean, I guess
comments.
Yeah, I mean the intended recipient for that is AIPAC, so it doesn't really need to be a public story.
Right. She has received hundreds of thousands of dollars from AIPAC. Important high-level ideas. Matt, I think you need to check your World War I source regarding the British Navy. I've read a lot of World War I, and one of the major pre-war sources of tension was the naval race between Britain and Germany. They were both building steel dreadnoughts. If wooden ships were used, it might have been in some distant spot like Lake Victoria.
Maybe it was in the run-up somewhere, some sort of secondary fight, maybe in the later 19th century. I'm not sure.
When did they start to get like steam engines on ships? 1880s, 1890s?
Like steamships, 1860s probably. I think the Civil War really like accelerated a lot of that.
There we go. Mr. Now, y'all should talk to Kat Abu Ghazala running for Illinois 9th. Definitely fits the Zoran Graham mold. And a shout out to my girlfriend Tara for listening to the show today. Shout out to Tara. We should. I tried to do that when we were in Chicago, but I think I got sucked into the gravitational pull of Hassan, meaning we basically,
We almost did it through that
Yes.
connection, but it turns out Chicago is a giant city that takes sort of hours to get across.
Right. And she was doing like a tour of the city. And by that point, when we were going to meet up with her, she was like an hour north of where we were. So it just didn't make sense.
The district she's running for, is that Chicago?
I need to look up the exact district. Notions of brightness. She's tired of the battle. She has wounds. Verbonia. Let's throw the battle-hardened veterans of Normandy onto the front lines in the Donbass.
It's really funny to say that to a guy who did 4 tours of war, too, to call Janet Mills battle tested.
Yeah,
The
right.
guy was in
That's such a
Iraq
great
and
point.
Afghanistan.
That's such a great point. Skid Mark Twain Pokemon Go to the polls. Always a good reminder of that. Chevron, Janet Mills made a call against state municipal power initiative Pine Tree Power, which was pretty uncalled for. Hopeful One says, I'm 64 and cannot imagine having enough gas in my tank to be a senator, although it seems like they have a lot of time off.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I think their life is actually kind of easy.
Right.
If you don't mind asking rich people for money, you late into life. I mean, some people want to do it to their 80s.
But
which
if
is
you're in the
crazy to me.
Senate, you don't like that is a different deal. The House
Yeah,
is
that's true.
constantly calling for money. She's like 6-year term. This is my retirement plan.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Trump said that Chicago's next up in this performance art by the administration. I shouldn't be so flippant about it. He's testing the boundaries in his authoritarian takeover, but like there's nothing that these National Guardsmen are doing that is beyond like just the intimidation factor and the aesthetic of fascism. Like that there's nothing to address except for Donald Trump wants to see how far he can go.
Yeah, all the justifications are hysterical hyperventilations just for politics. The same thing about the supposed border crisis.
All right. I've been going back and forth about whether to even do this story, and I was about not to do the story, but I do find that this is a really important thing. It has to do with the existential threat facing Democrats. And I am seeing the writing on the wall that Democrats still don't get it. So I'm going to tell you this story. It's a personal story. Do with it what you will. And I know that I may be potentially burning some bridges by talking about this. One of the things that we learned during the 2024 election
What if I told you that there was a dark money group that was secretly funding Democrat influencers and they did not tell you about it? What if I told you that some of those influencers include David Pakman, Politics Girl, and Brian Tyler Cohen?
Carpenter, and he's like, why would the carpenter care about the opinion of the chair? And I was like, yeah, cool. Even if I run with your logic, I don't fuck with a being that like doesn't give a shit about my thoughts or my feelings. That's like, you're a fucking chair, dude. I don't care what you think. You're a puny you're nothing. Like, I'm just like, I don't fuck with that being. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, people's interpretation of God is ass backward.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't quite the direction I was pointing at. I was sort of thinking about, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. So,
okay,
go ahead.
Basically, who does your morals apply to? Basically, everyone thinks that they're moral people, they're good people. But if your morals just apply to you, if only the things that benefit you are good and everyone else can go hang, well, you're a sociopath. Whereas if, it just applies to your family or your local community, okay, that's a very, very insular sort of morality. But again, then you get Charles Manson. The one we're in now is more tribalistic. Basically, it evolves around nations or ethnic groups, or it's very tribalistic, and your morality applies within your tribe, but outside your tribe you can do whatever you want. Everything's good, and that comes across very clear in the Bible. The way we're moving is more humanistic. Humanity as a whole is our group, and we look at our group as the things that benefit humanity is good and things that don't benefit humanity is bad. And that's kind of where we're moving towards. But that's, again, not the end goal. There's goals beyond that. You talk to a vegan and they'll include animals into this as well. So that's where I'm talking about as far as morality is what is your morality group, not specifically what are your morals.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I think that's a really interesting thing to bring up, because again, it goes back to this idea of like when Christians say that they're operating from an objective morality. And then also we'll have Christians on this show, theists will call in and argue that they have an objectively higher moral standard. And you're right. It's like, it's all just about what's your in-group. What is the moral framework of your in-group? Our morals are definitely tribalistically assigned to us. Even me, like, I was raised in a very, very Christian area in a particular sect of Christianity. I was raised in Sandy, Utah, and I was raised Mormon. And there's a very particular set of cultural values and cultural morals, many of which I still operate under to this day, having been an atheist for the last 20 years of my life. There's still a lot of just like underlying moral principles of like trying to find ways to be of service to people in your community and trying to operate from a default position of kindness and, you know, trying to go out of your way if you see someone in need and helping them, that I feel like I got from my Mormon upbringing. But there are also other values from that in-group that I have long since left behind. There's just, you know, kind of the more arbitrary dogmatic things that exist in lots of Christianity, where it's like, I can't understand why there's some moral connection to me drinking coffee. And that's a big thing with Mormons. It's like they don't want you to drink coffee, and like nobody can make that rule make sense to me. But there's all these different things in Christianity where it's like, why does the creator of the universe have such thin skin that one of his top 10 commandments is like, don't have any other gods before me and don't use my name in vain? Like, it just seems like this omnipotent, all-powerful creator is like, it's like 4 of his top 10 rules are like all about him and his ego. And it doesn't really vibe with me, but it's definitely something that people from a particular in-group have decided to adopt as part of their personal moral framework, for better or worse.
Well, that kind of gets to the point of my call is ultimately I want to ask, what is God's in-group? What is God's morality?
It seems like it would depend on which God you're referring to, right? I mean, there's, of course, a single, like, Abrahamic God, but Christian nationalists seem to worship one very specific flavor. Jehovah's Witnesses worship one specific kind of version that has these weird little beliefs about who you sleep with and things. It's all very different, and the morality kind of varies based on which group you're talking about. What do you mean?
Okay, well, basically, if you read the Bible, okay, you look at a God who's basically who? God is good for God, or God is good for the universe, or God is good for humanity? I don't think God is good for humanity. I think
I would
God
agree
is
with
all
you,
out
Ben.
for himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like when you talk about the morality of God, like to me, if you're talking about the God of the Bible or the God of the Old Testament, which was, you know, more specifically, I think to me that God's personal moral framework is like, I am. Like they saw lightning in the sky and they were like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to try to contextualize it with a story because that's one of the things that evolution.
and we can all go hang.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Again, the Marcion. like unless the end is coming like any 5 minutes.
And I don't know how it definitively confirms the existence of some kind of magical entity that is answering or not answering prayers.
And one more thing on this note, like even if there was a very obvious answer that like I don't know, like Jesus shows up or something, or I start hearing a voice from the sky or something, I think it would be prudent to at least verify that it's not a trick, right? Like even then, verify that like it wasn't aliens or whatever, or somebody trying to take advantage of me or playing a prank on me or something like that. Seems like the logical best choice even then.
I keep hearing a beep. Am I still online? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're on.
You're
I don't
still
think
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandy, I've been muting you because there's a lot of background noise on your line. Like we're getting a lot of like
I
rustling.
have a fan
So
on me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
turn the fan off.
No problem.
Maybe that's the problem. Okay. Is it better?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so much
sounds
better.
It was the fan. Yeah, it was a desk fan. Yeah. Well, okay, guys. I just wanted to share that. I mean, I don't believe in religion. Okay, I hate the Bible. I studied that piece of shit for 10 years, and it's there's some wisdom in it here and there, but it's real. I don't want. I've just had answered prayer, and there's been much more than I gave you. Kind of two of there's some I don't want to share because it's a little bit too precious, but I gave those two examples, and yes, it could have been a phenomenal coincidence. I agree.
Could I posit a possible explanation that I think is just kind of fun to think about? So there's people who there's people who think that something that goes to simulation theory. I don't know that I believe in simulation theory, but I also can't definitively disprove it. The idea that we live inside of a really complex designed simulation, is the double slit experiment. Where you're shooting light photons through these two slits, and based on whether they're being observed or not observed, they go through at a different pattern. That these molecules will behave differently based on whether or not someone is looking at them. And so some people who believe in simulation theory will say that the reason why that is it's a simulation that doesn't actually exist. Like it's like a video game where like there's parts of the map that don't exist unless you're there looking at them. Like unless you travel to that part of the map, it's not actually being rendered.
Right.
It
Well, it's
needs
kind of
to
like
be
the string theory. That that something doesn't. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so there's a possible like quantum explanation that says when you're putting your focus into I want to see these four numbers, any four numbers could come up, but somehow you're quantumly entangled with
That's
and also if we talk about time not being linear, if we talk about that we only experience time in a linear sense because of the way that our meat sack computers work, that we're experiencing entropy in a linear sense, but really it's like you have the ability to be entangled with like a quantum superposition that's 2 minutes in the future, so you're able to see four numbers that are going to pop up. There are lots of different fun explanations that could hypothetically be true, and I don't necessarily think we always need to default to a magic being was letting me know that he exists by But they're all like very fun, very like fantastical, crazy